The title is This Pro-Abortion Fanatic Presented a Thought Experiment Destroying Pro-Lifers. Here are 4 reasons he fails dramatically.
Okay.
4 reasons a pro-abortion person fails to destroy pro-lifers.
Yes.
Okay.
On Tuesday morning, a pro-abortion Twitter thread went viral. The thread posited a thought experiment the author claimed to be original, though it has existed in one form or another for over a decade. I first became aware of the thought
I used it on air.
And I haven't read this, so I don't know what it is.
The terminology pro-abortion obviously shows where this person is, right? Because pro-life, pro-life and pro-choice is what they would call themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
I first became aware of the thought experiment from Harvard philosopher Michael Sandel, who was arguing in favor of fetal stem cell research at the time. Here's the hypothetical, according to Patrick S. Tomlinson, a comic and author of the Ark trilogy. Tomlinson's scorn for the pro-life movement pours from his verbiage. Whenever abortion comes up, I have a question I've been asking for 10 years now of the life begins at conception crowd. In 10 years, no one has ever answered it honestly.
All right.
It's a simple...
I'll answer it honestly for you.
Yeah.
Because you're pro-life?
I would, my position's a bit nuanced, but I think that I fall into the pro-life camp, yeah.
But you wouldn't use the government to force your views on
others? I think the government has been a poor arbiter of, what would constitute handling abortion up to this point. I think that also, going a bit further, that pro-lifers, do a lot of shaming. They don't do a lot of adopting.
Okay.
So let's get into the scenario that hasn't ever been answered honestly. It's a simple scenario with 2 outcomes. No one ever wants to pick one because the correct answer destroys their argument. And there is a correct answer, which is why the pro-life crowd hates this question. Here it is. You're in a fertility clinic. Why isn't important. A fire alarm goes off. You run for the exit. As you run down this hallway, you hear a child screaming from behind a door. You throw open the door and find a 5-year-old crying for help. There in the corner of the room, in the other corner, you spot a frozen container labeled 1,000 viable human embryos. The smoke is rising. You start to choke. You know you can grab one or the other, but not both before you succumb to smoke inhalation and die, saving no one. Do you, A, save the child, or B, save the 1,000 embryos?
Or C, save yourself.
There is no C. C means you all die, because you could die. You could potentially die of smoke inhalation if you're hesitating or trying to do something else.
So, to honestly,
it's a great question.
I suppose there is a C of you leave and save none of them.
That's what I was suggesting.
Yeah.
You just skedaddle.
Right. My honest answer to the question is I will save the child. Now, I have another question that will destroy...
You apparently are the first person to ever answer that question.
The first person ever! I will now destroy this stupid thought experiment. You now have the ability to save by simply pulling a lever. You can save one of these 2 people.
Can we keep going?
No.
This is in the article. Your answer to this is in this article.
I don't think it is.
It certainly is.
You heard it on Facebook?
No, it's in. I know what you're about to say, but we'll.
All right, we're gonna get to it coming up here in moments. Your calls and thoughts, because I thought it was a good question. I mean, it makes sense to me. You save the real life. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here. This is Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Google has all but banned the movie series What Would Muhammad Do? It's a brilliant film on the true history and goals of Islam. This is the film Trump's enemies and holdouts from the Obama administration are terrified you will see. Pro-Islamic groups working with Google and other multi-billion-dollar corporations have vowed to suppress the distribution of What Would Muhammad Do? When you see it, you'll understand why. Get your copy while you still can. Order the 4-DVD collection today for $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Or go online and download the entire movie series for just $19.95. But wait, for those who order in the next 30 minutes, we'll throw in a 9-part series on the Muslim Brotherhood absolutely free. Go to wwmdfilm.com or call 304-289-3700 now. That's wwmdfilm.com or call 304-289-3700 now.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. Skype username is LRN.FM. And with you tonight, it's me, Ian.
And it's me, Johnson.
And me, Mark.
We're talking about a question regarding anti-abortion, pro-abortion people, or pro-choice versus anti-choice or pro-life, or whatever you want to call these different sides. I'm sure each person probably has their own name for what they believe. But the question that you had asked, Johnson, was being posited by a guy who claims that he's been asking pro-lifers this question for 10 years and not a single one of them has ever answered it. Mark, you just answered it tonight, which makes you the first person, according to this guy, first pro-lifer to ever answer the question. And the question was something about if you're in a burning fertility clinic and you can only save a 5-year-old child or 1,000 unfertilized, was it fertilized?
No, viable human embryos.
Viable human embryos.
Fertilized.
From burning to death. You can only save one due to the time constraints. Which do you save? And Mark, you said you would save the 5-year-old child.
That's correct.
But you say you're going to destroy that argument or that question here in a moment. So stand by with that. But let's go to Dave Ridley. He's on the line here from New Hampshire on Skype. Hello, Dave.
Yeah, I have an update with regard to State Rep Caleb Dyer in New Hampshire.
That's the Libertarian Party state representative. He was the first the first of three, actually, this year, 3 state reps. He's was a Republican originally. He was elected as a Republican. He changed to the Libertarian Party, setting off, I wouldn't call it an avalanche, but more so than in any other state. We now have 3 Libertarian Party representatives, one Democrat, one former Democrat, 2 former Republicans. He was the first of the 3 to make the flip. Anyway, just wanted to give our listeners a little background, because New Hampshire is the only state with any state representatives who are libertarians, and we got 3 of them. So go ahead.
Correct. But his primary relevance to this conversation is the fact that he is also an advocate of New Hampshire independence.
Yes.
So he has been looking into different options, in terms of what kind of bill or amendment should be submitted. There was an original line of thinking that there would need to be a constitutional amendment in order to trigger any kind of referendum or anything that people could vote on. Then there was some thinking by Jason Sorens, the founder of the Free State Project, that basically, no, you don't. You could just have legislation that authorizes a non-binding referendum. That way you don't have to get 66% or whatever. Anyway, he's posted an update on his plans, and at first glance, to me, it looks like bad news. He was considering submitting a bill. Maybe he still is.
I think it's too late.
With regard to the constitutional amendment, he says, quote, I held off on introducing an amendment to Article 7 this year of the New Hampshire Constitution because of the Speaker's comments. If I am reelected, I would happily introduce the language that has been drafted, unquote. Now, that's a little bit cryptic, and I emailed him or messaged him on Facebook, I think, to try and figure out what exactly
comments?
that meant. I haven't heard from him yet. What did you say?
Yeah, what comments is he referring to? That's what you don't know, right?
He said this about a week ago, and this would have been around the time when the Speaker of the House had just made some comments against NH exit and had denounced people who are running for office.
I don't see why that matters, because the Speaker of the House in this case is leaving his position, isn't he? And besides, who cares what the Speaker thinks?
I know. That's why I emailed Caleb to
find
out what was up. But again, I just messaged him on Facebook, and a lot of people they read all their emails, but they don't get all their Facebook messages, or they read all their Facebook messages but don't get all their emails. So it's possible he didn't receive it. But I could, it could take me another week to figure that out. I figure I'd just let you know what I do know. And
I think either way it won't really matter, because as I understand it, the filing deadline is long since passed for next year's legislation.
Wasn't there? This is October. Isn't there another?
I'm not an expert on this. That's just. I'm pretty sure that's what Daryl Perry told me, because I'd asked him about that a few weeks ago. I think it opened up in late August and then closed after a few weeks. Daryl's saying it's closed. Awesome. He's saying it's closed, Dave.
Okay. So anyway, that's bad. But on the other hand, I think the bigger picture, there's something good in that there does seem to be some degree of consensus in at least our small group that you probably could do this without a constitutional amendment.
And in what way would that be exactly?
Well, Sorens thinks it's just legislation. You just need the legislation declaring independence. He thinks that the Constitution already allows it, the New Hampshire Constitution. And the benefit of that would be twofold. First of all, it's much easier to get a constitutional amendment passed.
It's easier to get a constitutional amendment passed? I would think it'd be easier to get legislation passed.
Easier to get legislation passed.
Okay.
But then also, it's just nice to know that we could get this in front of the people, probably.
Now, this would be non-binding, right?
Yeah, without even having to have a constitutional amendment. So here's the scenario: is that you get the non-binding referendum in front of the people. If they vote in favor of it, then the legislators will feel pretty comfortable making legislation to that effect.
I see. Okay. All right. Well, unfortunately, it's another year out at this point.
Yeah, I would think that if you're talking about breaking the ties that bind New Hampshire to the United States Constitution, it should be more than just a simple majority. It should be something like a supermajority of some sort to do
60%?
that. I'd say 66 would be the way that I would do it.
Well, you could always tweak it. You could say the legislators could say, look, we're giving this to the voters, and we say that this is, you can vote on it one way or another, but we are also advocating that the legislators not draft independence legislation unless it goes to 60%, or 55% or what. It doesn't. That way, we're not locked into 66%.
I would think that this would be the most effective way to sort of get, to gauge the public and to get the news to the legislators. And you're going to need these non-binding resolutions more than one time in order to take the temperature over time. Yeah, you're not going to get all the information you need.
Well, I mean, obviously you would need it again if it didn't pass. But if it passed with 70% the first time, I wouldn't say you'd need it again.
Oh well, yeah. And if they had a goose that laid gold bricks up at Concord, they wouldn't need to tax us either.
So you're skeptical that it will be popular?
Highly.
Okay. Well, there's only one way to find out. I mean, the fact is this discussion has never really been had in any meaningful sense across New Hampshire because no politician has yet really made this their banner issue. They have not put anything forward in regards to secession because most politicians are cowards. And first of all, most of them aren't interested in secession because they love the United States or whatever. But ultimately, my experience in New Hampshire has been that the people of New Hampshire, the average folks that are here, they seem to love the idea. I mean, just across the board, the responses I've gotten have been so popular. I don't know about you, Dave.
I'm more interested in the people that are on the fence and what conversation it would take to move them off of the fence. That's what I'm interested in.
Because having a conversation at all would help people move off the fence because then it brings up the issue. It gives people the excuse to talk about it. The mainstream media is going to cover it. They're going to want to interview people that know a thing or two about it. So whichever state rep that runs forward with this, someday we will have one of them. Maybe it'll be Caleb next year if he gets reelected. He said he'll do it if he gets reelected, which is it's going to be a challenge because
he's running as a libertarian.
He's going to run as a libertarian. So if he can get elected as a libertarian, that will be very newsworthy on its own. And I wish him the best of luck with that. I think Skype has crashed. Dave, are you with us?
I can hear you.
Oh, you're still there. Okay. Other comments you want to share?
Well, part of the genius of New Hampshire that I've discovered over the years of 12 or 13 years of being here, if you have what you think is a great idea for a piece of legislation, just sit around for a year or two and you'll just see it like roll past you in the docket. Right?
That's actually not a good idea. The best idea, if you have a great idea for a piece of legislation, is to go ahead and write it, and then you present it to the liberty-oriented legislators, and you find out if one of them agrees with you and is willing to take it up. That's the best way to do it because these guys are busy. The legislature in New Hampshire, they don't get paid barely. It's $100 a year. Most of them, if they're not retired, they're middle-aged people that are working. They've got a business that they run or they work somewhere. These guys are busy. So that doesn't mean they're against your idea because they haven't implemented it. It's because they're probably too busy to have written it themselves. They've got their 3 bills or whatever that they think were important enough to put in on their own. But if you actually come to them before the bill filing season, so come to them before the end of the summertime, like before August basically, and you say, hey, Mr. Liberty Legislature people,
legislature
people. There's more than one of them. There's like a couple dozen of them that are pretty principled liberty people. Say, go to every single one of them that you know of and say, hey, I'd really like this legislation to get introduced. Maybe your legislation completely abolishes the war on drugs, or secedes New Hampshire from the United States, or whatever. And if they agree with it, they'll be like, wow, thank you so much for writing this. They might tweak some of the wordage, and then they'll submit it. Thanks, Dave, for your call tonight, because we can actually do that here in New Hampshire. It's actually possible to talk to these people. More coming up.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-557-0158. That's 800-557-0158. Again, 800-557-0158.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, October 24th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.01 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,277 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,687. Antiwar.com reports U.S. warplanes attacked the Qusur district of Syria's city of Deir ez-Zor, a government-held area in the nation's far east, killing at least 14 civilians and wounding 32 others, according to local reports. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that 22 civilians had been killed in the attack. The U.S. has not commented on the incident yet, but spokesman Colonel Dillon promised to check the reports. He said there would be no reason for the U.S. to attack the city, as neither the U.S. nor the Kurdish allies are operating in that area. That, of course, is not exactly a denial, and it's unclear if we'll hear about it again soon. The attack is likely to be a serious problem with respect to U.S.-Russia activity within Syria, as Russia is backing Syria in taking the Deir ez-Zor province from the Islamic State, and doubtless will not look kindly on the U.S. attacking a Syrian city in the area. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a vegetable supplier to several of the largest grocery store chains in the nation issued a major recall of several products last week due to a risk of listeria contamination. Man Packing, based in Salinas, California, recalled dozens of packaged vegetables, salads, and other products that are sold at stores across the United States and Canada, including Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Albertsons, Safeway, Meijer, and Walmart. A full list of recalled products is available on the Food and Drug Administration website. The FDA said although healthy individuals may suffer only short-term symptoms such as high fever, severe headache, stiffness, nausea, abdominal pain, and diarrhea, listeria infection can cause miscarriages and stillbirth among pregnant women. Customers who have purchased any of the products on the recalled list are urged to discard the products or return it to the store where it was purchased for a refund. Gina Nucci, Director of Corporate Marketing at Man Packing, said, "This voluntary recall is a reflection of our commitment to ensuring the safety of our customers." In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports U.S. representatives from both major parties asked the Department of Justice on Monday whether the domestic terrorism law would cover actions by protesters that shut oil pipelines last year, a move that could potentially increase political rhetoric against climate change activists. Ken Buck, a Republican from Colorado, said in a letter to the Attorney General Jeff Sessions that damaging pipeline infrastructure poses risks to humans and the environment. The letter, a copy of which was obtained by Reuters, said operation of pipeline facilities by unqualified personnel could result in a rupture, the consequences of which would be devastating. It was signed by 84 representatives, including at least 2 Democrats, Gene Green and Henry Cuellar of Texas. The move by the lawmakers is a sign of increasing tension between activists protesting projects, including Energy Transfer Partners LP Dakota Access Pipeline, and the administration of President Donald Trump, which is seeking to make the country energy dominant by boosting domestic oil, gas, and coal output. The letter asks Sessions whether existing federal laws arm the DOJ to prosecute criminal activity against energy infrastructure. It also asks whether attacks on energy infrastructure that pose a threat to human life fall within the department's understanding of domestic terrorism laws. The DOJ acknowledged receipt of the letter and said they are reviewing it. A terrorism expert said it was ironic that lawmakers referred to the law, which defines domestic terrorism as acts dangerous to human life intended to intimidate civilians, but does not offer any way to prosecute anyone under it. David Schanzer, a Homeland Security and terrorism expert at Duke University, said the lawmakers' request of Sessions will not make any legal ramifications, but possibly could be used for rhetorical value. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Well, it's the end of an era and the beginning of a new one.
Today, Pennington's black part of town moved across the river to North Pennington. The Thompson family sold their home on the east side and moved to the old Kirkland Place at 17 Mansfield Place, establishing the all-new black neighborhood. Northside residents are looking forward to the infusion of fun and funk that the new black part of town is sure to bring to their area. Mayor Mitzi Kranowitz presided over the dedication of the new black neighborhood, unveiling a sign designating it a landmark district.
It's lovely, everyone. Pennington's diversity is its strength, whether it's Little Harlem or the so-called Gayborhood, where Paul and his partner Bryant have that cottage.
Sheriff Stevens today announced that the heavy round-the-clock patrols that helped make the old Thompson house one of the safest neighborhoods in town will move with them.
This has nothing to do with the black part of town moving here. We just want to make sure that everyone here has a comfortable place to live.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, launching into the second hour of the program. You can take control of the airwaves here at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. Here in the studio with you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Coming back, we got to get back into it. You and Johnson, or Mark, you and Johnson were going to go at it as far as abortion is an issue. We were discussing that in the last hour.
Give it a little time. Just remember, this is an article that I brought in from a pro-life perspective, so I don't want to just steamroll the article itself.
Yeah.
Until we've gotten a chance to get into the article a little bit, and then we can give our own kind of perspective.
Right, so we'll get back into that coming up here in moments.
And you said it was mostly about philosophy anyway.
I think so. Well, yeah. But what you were going to bring up, your argument is reasoning,
right, it's reasoning,
reasoning and a philosophy kind of perspective.
Yes.
All right, so we can get into that, but first, Joe is on the line in California because we've been talking about secession a little bit here after another caller brought it up. Joe, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yes, I was wondering if you succeeded, would you still get any funding from the government? Because you're not there, people on Social Security, will they still receive their Social Security check?
That's a good question. If you're a Social Security recipient and you move out of the United States, do you continue to receive the Social Security check?
Yes.
Well, then I would suspect that you may still continue to receive it unless they specifically say, screw all you New Hampshire people. We're going to cut off everybody who still, has an address in New Hampshire. If you want your Social Security, you got to leave New Hampshire. I doubt, it seems unlikely they would do that, but then again, based on what Spain's been up to, trying to keep Catalonia in Spain, they're willing to take desperate measures, that's for sure.
What about your roads, the highway funding and things of that nature?
The state's the ones that build
state to state.
The state's the ones that builds the roads, the local government and the state governments.
There is some government funding that comes for roads specifically.
Federal highway system.
You would at that point.
What I'm saying is, if you're going down the interstate, can you cross into New Hampshire coming from another state?
This is the real crux of the issue is that if freedom to travel is diminished significantly by New Hampshire being its own country,
do you think
I'm not even that interested in it.
Do you think they'd crack down worse than they are on Mexico and Canada?
Mexico and Canada are a pain in the butt to get through. Have you done that recently?
Yeah, but
we're going to build a wall around New Hampshire.
I understand they're a pain, but Mark, there's thousands and thousands of cars, probably hundreds of thousands of cars that cross on those borders every single day.
There are thousands of people in New Hampshire that work in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Maine, and you're going to get them fired.
We're working on prototype laws to ensure that we don't see any of these people with these Shire plates.
Well, I mean, why would they get fired?
Because it's going to take them 3 hours to get to work, Ian.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, they can always move to Massachusetts.
I know. It's really important. This is really important to Ian. It's really important.
It's important for the world.
He can't say why, but it's important.
What do you mean I can't say why? Of course I can say why. Because the United States government is an evil organization, and it's an embarrassment to be a part of that particular organization as a state government, and they need the autonomy and freedom. And freedom is a good thing because freedom means, better economy, and it means more liberty, and it means all kinds of great things that the federal government currently has crushed out of the United States. All of those things would be able to happen without the federal government in the way. So if you value freedom, then you should value secession.
Let me ask this then. Years ago, I'm talking about years ago, Nevada did not take any federal money, so they could do what they wanted to.
Right on.
Could you go back to that where you don't take any federal money?
Yeah, that's a good step in the right direction. I'd say
it'd be a giant leap in the right direction. I think probably the biggest thing that the secessionists have on their side is income tax. That essentially, right now, the federal government tells the citizens of the several states that they've got to pay into this pool of money that gets wasted on a regular basis. And if a state could then, somehow opt out of income tax and still remain in the union, I think that would be the optimal situation.
That would be the way to go. Yes.
All right, there you go, Joe. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you know what? If the state governments opt out of various different federal programs, which New Hampshire has done when it comes to the helmet laws here, the seatbelt laws.
They did Real ID and then they broke weak.
Meaning that they rejected Real ID and then they decided to accept it as an option. So in New Hampshire,
the
you can now
options
choose.
looking real, like it's the main choice.
It's what they're promoting. Yeah. You can still opt out of Real ID in New Hampshire. But yes, you're right, Mark. It's a shame. We are still just getting started here. We need more libertarians moving to New Hampshire and staying here and committing to, working towards more liberty in our lifetime, whether that means telling the federal government that we're not interested in their programs or telling them we're not interested in being a state anymore. I think that all of those things are things we should be pushing towards.
So Real ID, the way it was passed, is more of an indictment against the federal government that it is in New Hampshire for breaking week. Real ID was tacked on and voted on midnight. So it was slapped on some other bill that was bound to pass and then voted on at midnight.
Where was this? In
Real
New
ID.
Hampshire?
No. Real ID in 2006.
Oh, you're talking about the federal level.
Right. It's an indictment against the feds, Ian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about that.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you.
The toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE like freedom. You can bring up whatever you want. Let's talk to Ricky. He's in Pennsylvania. Hello, Ricky. Go ahead.
Brother Ian, that would be the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I just stepped into your discussion, in fact, about secession. Brother Mark, good evening.
Good evening to you, Ricky.
Let's dispatch with the pleasantries and get to the point. Go ahead.
Well, quick little update before I get into secession. Quick little update.
No, just get into secession. We're only one topic, please. Go ahead.
Brother. All right. We'll start first with the Commonwealth, and then we'll go to New Hampshire. I have some questions and discussion about that. The feedback up here are very positive, just like yourselves. Everybody all for it.
Secession.
That absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Now, I've been hitting the State House. I'm going to be hitting back, getting some feedback. Because of privacy and crap like that, I can't say the outcome, but I will say it's open-ended.
No idea what you're talking about.
As far as the answer from the Chief of Staff.
Okay.
Okay,
Meaning he didn't
now-
shut you down. He didn't say no to secession. Okay.
Well, he did, yes, but then he said he didn't support it. But what he answered after that, because I said to him, I said, you're just gonna let the state just rip us apart and walk all over us and destroy everything we represent. And then I said, okay, I got one question: why? He gave me the answer, and the answer that I was given, it would be wrong for me to repeat it on the air here, and probably would make the likelihood of that worse. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean because you're not telling us. But okay, go ahead. Moving on.
It's an open-ended answer. I'll say that. You wouldn't be surprised. Now, talking about infrastructure. Now I'm looking at New Hampshire. I'm looking at the Commonwealth here. Now we have upwards at this point of 14 million people here, and our infrastructure is strong enough.
Go ahead.
Our infrastructure is strong enough. Plus, we are already the Commonwealth, and we do have the separation of the state and the Commonwealth, even nobody give a damn. And I'm looking at New Hampshire. Now, you got upwards of 4 million people up there.
1.4.
Really?
Yep.
The numbers dropped.
No, it hasn't.
No.
You've got it conflated somehow. Maybe you're talking about the Boston Metro or something.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Well, maybe. Either way, you got 1.4. That's even worse.
Okay.
Now, I'm looking at the infrastructure here. Now, we could do it. I mean, and plus, you can look at the same way we do, because all the money that gets pissed away to the state, we'll have. We don't have to, worry about
When you say the
that.
state, you mean the national federal government. You're saying that the money that is taxed from people in whatever state goes to the federal government. They then spend a bunch of money on their bureaucracy there, on their middle-class bureaucrats that are getting paid buku bucks with awesome benefits and all that, and that it just comes back ultimately in some form or another, and thank you, Ricky, for the call, that it comes back in some form or another to the state where it came from, but it's less than what it was at least in the case of New Hampshire. There are some states that actually get more back than what they spend, but of course the people don't get it back. It's the government that gets it in some form or another. So again, that would be a lot more money that those donor states could keep during secession. More coming up.
Don't do what I did and run out. If it's working, don't quit. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished?
You've got to feed them right for life.
Dynavite is nutrition.
If I ever took Roy off of Dynavite.
No.
When I get to about 3/4.
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynavite, oh no, I've got a couple more scoops. It's time to place my order. Dynavite.com. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dynavite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in 1 application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial on in, toll free. Bring up anything you want. Our number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You want to protect your home, maybe your office, check out blinkprotect.com/FTL. It's the Blink home security system. It will be delivered to your door, and the setup time is about as fast as you could possibly imagine. There's no wires. There's no hassles of having to drill holes because of wires and like do all the things. You have to have a DVR that you've got to set up with ridiculous menu systems that is made in China, so there's English and you can't understand half the things that are in there. You don't have that problem with Blink Home Security. In fact, I think they make them in Massachusetts. You go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. You can get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge for 1 there. And super easy to set this thing up. Even Mark was able to do it in about 10 minutes at his house. So check it out at blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. As we continue here, we'll take your calls about whatever's on your mind. We were talking about abortion, and I think we need to get back into that discussion. If we get the chance, we can get back into Bitcoin as well. But Johnson, in the last hour, for listeners just tuning in, you had proffered via an article written by somebody who's a pro-lifer.
Right, who's talking about a Twitter storm or tweet storm that went viral.
And the tweet storm was by somebody who's a pro-choice person.
Correct.
And the pro-choice person says they've been giving this scenario for 10 years and no pro-lifer's ever been able to answer the question, and it was about being in a fertility clinic. Only being if there's a fire, you can only save one of 2 things.
Or you'll die of smoke inhalation if you try and save both.
One is a 5-year-old child. The other is 1,000 fertilized embryos. And Mark, you're a pro-life person. You are also a libertarian, so you don't believe the government should be involved in prohibition of abortion. But you're a pro-life person, and you did answer the question. You said you would save the 5-year-old, but then you said you wanted to destroy this. But Johnson said, "Hold on, let me keep going.
Let me keep going, and don't lose it here because there's just a little bit more of this answer the.
So the pro-life guy is going to try to destroy it next, right?
Right. But there's a little bit more of the pro-choice side here.
All right.
He goes on to say, in a decade of arguing with anti-abortion people about the definition of human life, I have never gotten a single straight A or B answer to this question, and I never will. They will never answer honestly because we all instinctively understand that the right answer is A. a
child.
Human child is worth more than 1,000 embryos, or 10,000, or 1,000,000, because they are not the same, not morally, not ethically, not biologically.
Seems crystal clear to me.
This question absolutely eviscerates their arguments, and their refusal to answer confirms that they know it to be true. No one anywhere actually believes an embryo is equivalent to a child. That person.
Notice how they never say human embryo. Now, every mammal, every being has an embryo, but they don't say human embryo because they don't want to call it a human life.
Because it's not. Going on.
Right, but a human embryo is not a human life. It's an interesting bit of semantics.
Just an embryo.
I mean, at the point of an embryo, it really kind of isn't. But
the
person does not exist. They're lying to you. They're lying to you to try and invoke an emotional response, paternal response using false equivalency. No one believes life begins at conception. No one believes embryos are babies or children. Those who claim those who make that claim are trying to manipulate you so that they can control women.
How is this a Twitter post? This is way longer than 140.
It's a tweet storm. He's going like 8 out of 9.
Oh, okay.
Don't let them use this question to call them out. Reveal them for what they are. Demand they answer your question, and when they don't, slap that big old scarlet P of the patriarchy on them. The end.
What's the patriarchy have to do with it?
He says that abortion is used to control women. That being pro-life is to basically turn women into baby factories. There are a lot of feminists who are pro-choice because of that viewpoint. So, getting into the pro-life side of this. This author says, let me see who this author is. So we know.
What's the site that you're reading
from the Daily Wire.
Daily Wire.
It actually does not say the author of this at the top. Maybe it's at the end. I'm not going to go.
We'll figure it out later.
We'll figure it out later. Let's put aside Tomlinson's obvious douchiness. The commenters on the Twitter thread are properly puzzled. That's because Tomlinson is correct when we all have a moral instinct to save the 5-year-old. But he's wrong if he thinks the hypothetical proves that embryos aren't human life or potential human life and therefore of no value. There are at least 4 reasons.
He didn't say it's of no value. He said it's of less value.
Right.
Yeah, it is of less value. Yes, I would agree.
He says there are at least 4 reasons for that. 1, moral instinct does not always mean correct moral decision-making. We all have the moral instinct to save the child. That does not mean that the instinct is either correct or justifiable. A few quick thought experiments suffice to prove the point.
All right.
Here's another, more famous thought experiment. You're standing at the fork in a track for a runaway trolley. On
the
one
trolley problem.
A train, like a trolley. Yeah, the trolley problem. On one side of the track is a man tied to the tracks. On the other side are 5 people. You choose to throw the switch, do you choose to throw the switch to save the 5 people? Or this is written.
Are the 5 people also tied to the tracks?
Yes, they're also tied to the tracks.
Okay.
You choose to throw the switch to save the 5 people, presumably, but now comes the second part of the hypothetical. Instead of standing at a fork, throwing a switch, you're standing above a single track on a bridge. 5 people are still tied to the track. Conveniently, though, there is a single fat woman standing atop the bridge with you. If you throw her in front of the train, you can stop the trolley before it hits the 5 people. Most people say that they wouldn't do it. Does that mean that the 5 people below are not humans? Or that it is morally correct to avoid tossing the woman?
Murdering the woman.
Right. In either case, you're still talking about murdering someone, right? If you switch the track to make the train squish one person as opposed to the 5, you're still
murdering.
You're pulling a lever. You're murdering someone.
You could just do nothing.
Right. Most people are detached. They feel detached if they're just switching a lever rather than pushing someone in front of a train.
Yeah, I see that.
Right. So, or say that instead of the random box of embryos, there are 2 embryos, and there are yours and your wife's, your only potential children. As in Tomlinson's example, we know that they will come to fruition. Your instinct could easily be to save the embryos rather than the 5-year-old child. Would Tomlin then
That would be pretty messed up.
Yeah. Would Tomlinson then say that the 5-year-old isn't a human?
Because the embryos are lesser than a human being.
By your estimation.
Yeah, that's right. And by everybody else who answered the question that they would save the 5-year-old. Now you're saying that because it's your embryo, it's more valuable? Okay, fine. You can have your values.
It's a value statement. Like, that's the whole point here is that we place value. Now, here's what my argument was, is that would you take, you've on one hand, you have 1,000 death row inmates convicted of murder here in these United States, chances are good 85% or more of them are guilty. Or on the other side, you have some person of repute, maybe Elon Musk, maybe Ron Paul. You pick your person of repute. I'm not here in order to tell you who is most valuable. But you pick your valuable person to society and put them on the other side. Now, if you choose to save the valuable person over the 1,000 death row inmates, you're not saying they're inhuman. You're just saying that you have value for some people over others.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that that the embryos are completely valueless, but by comparison to the 5-year-old, they certainly are very, very valueless in comparison.
Well, the ethical conundrums continue and get only more nuanced.
We'll continue here in moments. You can share your thoughts. Mark, would you pick your 10-year-old son or your embryo? Free Talk Live.
ProPure water filters. Most trusted, most tested. Right now, you can save 25% on the ProPure Nomad Gravity System. Visit an authorized ProPure dealer for details. It's PROPUR.
Advertising your business with GCN is simple, effective, and more affordable than you might think. Visit advertise.gcnlive.com for more info. Take your business to the next level. That's advertise.gcnlive.com.
In an emergency, you need a fire now. But what if the wood is wet? No problem for InstaFire. Our non-toxic fire starter packs lights wet wood, floats, and can even burn on water or in any weather. Sustains winds up to 30 miles per hour, and each pouch weighs only 1.75 ounces. Need an emergency or camp stove? Get the InstaFire Inferno stove that boils 20 ounces of water in under 3 minutes with controllable heat and temps from 425 to 1500 degrees. Free shipping. Go to instafire.com and use discount code RADIO30 up to 3 times for 30% off your order. InstaFire. Fire in an instant.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Join us on the radio here. Our number 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Whether it is the new Bitcoin gold that has been birthed today or abortion, that's what we're talking about here tonight. You can, of course, bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And speaking of Bitcoin, if you want to learn about Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin, or the new Bitcoin Cash, or this new Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin.com is a good place to get the basics on what Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are. That's your starting point. Then you can dig in as deep into this world as you want to. But Bitcoin.com, great place to get started. They've also got a great news site as well at news.bitcoin.com to keep you up to date with what is the latest in the Bitcoin world. And, of course, the big news is still yet to come. In about 3 weeks from today, there's going to be another fork, and this next one is going to be quite contentious and possibly very dramatic as far as what happens to Bitcoin and its price in the marketplace. Today, the price down, and some say that's because of this new Bitcoin Gold that has been created. We'll talk more about that. But if you want to learn the basics about Bitcoin, definitely check out Bitcoin.com. Or if you're old school and you know a lot about it, you'll find some really valuable resources there, like the news site and more. And also the Bitcoin mining pool at pool.bitcoin.com. Let's continue here. You can bring up anything you want. You've got more scenarios and questions surrounding abortion. We're going to get back into that coming up here in moments. But first, we have Michael in Texas. Michael, you're listening online. Go ahead.
Howdy, fellas.
Hey.
So I'm having I'm in construction, so I'm around a lot of construction people, and I have problems like convincing people that you know a lot of people think that Mexicans are a problem.
Oh no!
That they just move over here, they take welfare, and that's all they do.
Well, that's ridiculous.
That's
if you work on a construction site, I would think that some of those folks would know that a lot of Mexicans are very hard workers.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
Do you think that's why they don't like them? Is because they're getting upstaged?
What the sense that I get is that they feel like they're getting whipped, and then that the Mexicans aren't getting whipped.
Getting whipped as in the boss is treating the Mexicans better?
The taxes, like taxes. They feel like...
Yeah, there's this email that goes around...
It's hard for me to convince them that the politicians are the real problem. The politicians are the ones that, create all these taxes that they have to burden. And, people are just going to go where places where they're going to be economically, better off. And, if that means taking welfare, I don't know. But they just think that they're the problem. And it's hard for me to convince them that the politicians are the ones that are creating these policies that create these incentives that...
Sure. Yeah, people just respond to incentives. But I guess it's not atypical for the politicians to create a scapegoat, some sort of boogeyman or whatever, whether it be Mexican immigrants or drug dealers or terrorists. There's always some sort of group out there that the politicians have effectively been able to target and get people to ignore the politicians and instead act like it's this group that is the big problem. It's these other people who aren't the politicians that are causing the issue. And as you've pointed out, it's definitely the politicians. It's definitely the government that causes these, these discrepancies between groups and causes groups to be turned against one another, to attack each other. And as long as those groups are attacking one another and blaming each other for their problems, then they'll never figure it out who's really pulling the strings. And it's frustrating. And I don't know how else to get people to be aware of that.
You can go a little bit further, and many of these people probably believe that they are the government, right? Like that's what we were told throughout our time in school is that we, the people, the Constitution says that we're the government, right? And the saying that I like to use, and it cuts right to the quick, is you can't put out a bowl of cat food every morning and then get mad that stray cats come to your doorstep and eat cat food. And that ultimately comes down to, of course, there are some freeloaders out there doing freeloader stuff because you put out freeloader stuff for the freeloaders to freeload on. And that ultimately comes down to the hands of the citizen. Supposedly, the citizen is able to control the government to some extent or another. And the problem is the freeloading stuff, not hardworking people who want to make a better life for themselves and their family, just like all our forefathers were.
It's hard for me to draw that line between, that's what the real problem is, and the real problem is that you're leaving the cat food out. And how do I get my friends to realize that it's not the cat food being left out, it's the people leaving the cat food out. I mean,
these are things that take a lot of time, and I mean the fact is not everybody's a good prospect for liberty. Now, one way that you can approach other people who may disagree on an issue is to find the issues where you agree with them. So maybe your friends, some of them would agree that the war on drugs is bad, because I know a lot of construction guys smoke weed, for instance. So maybe you can get them to agree on that issue, and then you can we agree here. So you can see here how the government creates these problems, that the war on drugs has created all of these unintended consequences that have, resulted in more violence in the streets. It's made drugs more dangerous. So if you can get them to agree that the government's bad in this way, or that the government's bad because of taxes, or that the government's bad because of they don't like the welfare system, then at some point you might be able to parlay that into, well, gee, why do you trust the government when it comes to immigration? Isn't this the same government that caused all these other problems? What makes you think that they're going to be able to solve this one?
It comes back to they feel like they're being whipped, and they want to make sure that everybody around them is getting whipped.
Sure. Yeah, the old slave-on-slave violence, as they call it. And it's hard to beat that. It is hard to point those things out to people.
They feel exhausted that there's nothing they can do, so they just want to make sure everybody gets beat the same.
It's frustrating. I totally know where you're coming from. And when you've got that slave-on-slave situation, how do you break somebody out of that? How do you get somebody out of that paradigm of wanting to see other people get hurt and instead looking at those other people as like an example? Hey, boy, I wish I could be like them and also avoid getting whipped. Maybe I should look into ways that I could avoid getting whipped. But if they're beaten down and they're beaten down and beaten down, it's going to be hard to get them out of that paradigm. I mean, it's like old Harriet Tubman said, right? Supposedly, I freed 1,000 slaves. I could free 1,000 more if they only knew they were slaves. These people are slaves in their mind. They are slaves to the state and the system, and they believe the statement that you can't fight City Hall and you sure can't fight the federal government, right? Like, people believe that stuff, and for good reason, because in most cases, you really can't fight City Hall. They've got way more resources than you do. They've got all kinds of...
It's their full-time job to fight you.
Right. They got all kinds of attorneys.
As a hobby now and then.
Yeah. So, I mean...
They get paid to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a long-term process trying to persuade people to these ideas, which is why we've decided that moving libertarians to the same place is a kind of a jump start to what we're trying to accomplish here, because you can have the best friends in the world and spend a lot of time with them, but they'll never listen to you in some cases. They're dyed in the wool on whatever the issue is, and they're not going to change. They're running up against cognitive dissonance, and cognitive dissonance is just going to prevent them from even hearing the things that you have to say. Maybe they're just not ready for the message in that particular area, which is why I say focus on the things that you can agree with, and then maybe you can use those issues that you agree with them with as like a wedge to help them see the light on the issue where they're wrong. That doesn't mean it's going to work with everybody, but it might work with some of them. As far as I'm concerned, that's the best suggestion I've got. I don't know if you guys want to take any other cracks at this.
No, I've given my my best ammunition on this, and ultimately that's how it goes. I mean, if you figure out anything that is convincing to these folks, call back in with it.
Yeah, and if there's anybody out there listening who wants to weigh in, please do that. If you can help Michael out in this circumstance, maybe a unique pitch or technique. Thank you for the call tonight, Michael, and good luck. But ultimately, if you keep running up against the wall of a friend that just isn't changing, give up. You know, find somebody else to talk to. It's not to say you can't be their friend. You can be their friend. Just don't talk about that issue if you're not making any headway or progress. There's more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
When I get to about 3/4.
When I get down to the bottom, a couple more scoops, it's time to place my order. Dynovite.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dynovite.com.
If it's working, don't quit. DINOVITE.com.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon you'll need a plan and place to survive. Forget bunkers. You're not a live underground gopher. You need survivalist camps, the ultimate fully functional, off-the-grid mobile survival bug-out house that's well-equipped and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Bold statement? You bet. See them now at survivalistcamps.com. That's survivalistcamps.com. Trust your family's survival to survivalistcamps.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting vandykemortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free to bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype, so please Skype on in. to join us here at Skype username LRN.FM. And by the way, if you want to go and support Free Talk Live, we'd love to have you do that at the AMP program. It's Advertise, Market, and Promote. That's what AMP stands for. It's $5 a month, or you can use Bitcoin, as a matter of fact. So you can pay with credit card, PayPal, or Bitcoin. It's up to you. And then that $5 a month comes into us, and then we invest it into the show to get Free Talk Live on more radio stations, bring more internet listeners here, and expose new people to the ideas of freedom. So you can join the AMP program. You can get perks. Cool stuff like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, AMP-only podcast, the AMP-only Facebook group, and more. You can get signed up over at amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com. So back into the story here about abortion, which is what we've been sort of off and on here over the last couple hours.
We're riding the third rail, and so far I think we're doing all right.
I think so. And that's just because no one's called about it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
We haven't had like a deluge of
because normally when you bring up abortion, then like you get some of the worst calls in radio history because people are just terrible about this issue. Anyway, going on, you're reading from a pro-life person who is trying to rebut a pro-choice person's points about how embryos do not have the same value.
And seeing as how I'm pro-choice, I just found these to be very philosophically sound. A good rogering of the original argument.
Right. And so the argument basically is that embryos don't have the same value to anyone as a real human life does. And they've made that point initially, the pro-choice person made that point initially with this example of a fertility clinic with a fire, and you can only save one, a 5-year-old child or 1,000 fertilized embryos. And an honest person would say the child.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
And so this person brings up 4 different points to say that to say that are tearing apart that tweet storm of this guy who brought up this.
The pro-lifer claims they're tearing it apart.
Yeah. They're just asking some decent questions of this original sort of thought experiment.
All right.
That was Tomlinson's thought experiment.
So where did we leave off?
So we left off. We were talking about the 2 embryos that are your own embryos versus the 5-year-old child. Would you then?
This was the rebuttal from the pro-life
this is
guy.
one of the rebuttals. We're still in number 1, which is moral instinct does not always mean correct moral decision making.
So the guy is suggesting that if it was your embryo versus saving a 5-year-old child, that he would save the embryo.
Let's just jump right past that. Or let's say that it was your 5-year-old in the room, and next door were 1,000 actual full-grown human adults. Your instinct would probably be to save your 5-year-old. Mine would
probably
be. Does that make me right? Or are the 1,000 humans no longer human? Because you wouldn't save them, you'd save the child, your child?
Right. Who would say they're no longer human?
This would be my argument.
But this is how he's attacking that original.
The original statement was, okay, so, the anti-abortion argument rests on whether or not something's human, right? Killing something that is human without cause is murder, correct?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Okay, so by making this argument, this specious and stupid argument that this was all based on was, which would you save, a 5-year-old or 1,000 embryos? See, you take the 5-year-old, so 1,000 embryos must not be humans.
I don't think that's what they said. That was what the pro-life guy.
That's what was suggested.
The pro-life guy said that's what he said. Oh well, he didn't call them human embryos. He called them embryos.
No, I said that.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah, I said that.
Sorry. Mixing
all you pro-life people blending together.
Right, but you see, it's an argument about the value of humans, not whether or not something's human. Well, that's what it really is.
But they're not really humans, though, are they? I mean, they're just embryos.
Do we have to go back and reread this again?
No.
Okay, because in the beginning, the guy makes the argument that this destroys the pro-lifers' stance and that they'll never tell you what they think because of this
one argument. What he was saying
argument.
Was that the pro-lifers tend to believe that that it's a human life as soon as conception happens. And he's saying, clearly, it's not the same value of human life.
Agreed.
He's saying that they really don't believe that life begins at conception. It's not the same as
it's life, but it's not the same life.
Right.
It's a very small life, a life that can't really see or hear or do anything. It has no real memories. It has nothing. It's a complete blank slate, and it's not a human being in that it's not on its own. It requires its mother to exist.
So do babies.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's literally tethered to the mother in this particular case. You could always take a baby from a bad mother if you needed to. If a mother smokes cigarettes while her child is in her, then that's going to probably hurt that child.
It is, absolutely. And, it's an issue of volition. There's no doubt about it. But, right now they're raising lambs in bags. We have the technology to attempt to raise humans beyond there. But the question is, who's going to take care of them? Is it going to be me? No. The pro-lifers aren't all stepping up and saying, please send us.
Churches and militaries. That's the pro-lifers that'll get behind this.
They just want to hold signs outside of Planned Parenthood with dead babies on it.
North Korea will be heavily investing in this technology to build their super army.
I don't think the argument should ever be based on whether this is a human life or not. The argument should be based on, a variety of other things.
It's a near valueless human life. How about that?
Yeah, but who gets to decide? I mean,
well, you do when you save the 5-year-old as opposed to the 1,000.
Excellent. Can I go out and eliminate all the people that I consider to be near valueless human lives?
No, of course not.
It's going to be the killing fields, Ian. I'm going to lay waste to everybody with an IQ less than 120.
Of course you can't do that because those people are not embryos. They are actual humans that are independent and they're able to live their own life.
So then the argument that they're a near valueless human life isn't a good argument. The argument that they are dependent on the mother is a better argument.
Let's get into some of the other issues here before we get too spun out here. So point number 2 in this is Tomlinson's thought experiment does not reveal the value of embryonic life. We can agree with Tomlinson that one ought to save the 5-year-old rather than the box of embryos and still not admit that embryonic life is meaningless. In fact, we can imagine scenarios where we choose the box precisely because we want to preserve human life. Here's he's got this link to this guy, Deregulation and Dieter Schoenecker at University Halle-Wittenberg in response to Sendel. You're in Tomlinson's thought experiment. The embryos will grow into human beings using artificial means, as in Tomlinson's thought experiment, but there are no other human beings. In fact, this is often the leading premise of science fiction. Do you save the 5-year-old and doom the human species to extinction, or do you save the embryos? In this case, potential human life outweighs current human life. Does that mean that the 5-year-old is no longer a human being? Does it prove, according to Tomlinson, the value of embryonic life? Here's an easier one. You can save the box of embryos, or you can save the life of a woman who will die of cancer tomorrow. Which do you save? If you choose the embryos, is the cancer-ridden woman therefore of no moral value? That's the next point.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
3. Most pro-lifers freely admit the supreme value of already born human life, but that doesn't make prenatal life valueless. Virtually every religious system, including the Catholic religious doctrine, allows passive abortion, the moral equivalent of this case, in order to save the life of the mother. Let's say a woman has cancer and she requires chemo in order to cure it, but the chemo will result in the death of a fetus. There is no third option. Catholic doctrine suggests that the doctor bears no moral responsibility. The abortion is a byproduct of saving the woman's life, so Tomlinson's hard choice doesn't remotely demonstrate the valuelessness of embryonic life.
There are religions that would say that the child should be brought to term, though, and then the mother could begin cancer treatments.
Yeah, I don't think that, maybe the original tweeter doesn't have any value for the embryo, but I think that the example he gave is a good one of the woman who's going to die of cancer the next day.
Well,
Obviously,
we're not talking to the original tweeter now. This is the pro-life guy.
I know that, but he gave a good example of why you might want to actually save the 1,000 embryos if you, again, these are ridiculous scenarios, so this is the world we're playing in.
It started out as a ridiculous scenario.
Yeah. But either way, the woman who's going to die the next day, if for some reason you could know that, then it would make more sense to save the potential of the 1,000 embryos because there's more potential there than a for sure going to die woman. So in that case, the value of those embryos, which is pretty low, is higher in that case than the value of a dying woman. It seems pretty clear.
I don't know. I might still save the dying woman.
You'd save the dying woman? All right.
The hypothetical, the number...
It gets you a bigger picture of the newspaper, I'd say.
Yeah. The number 4 here is the hypothetical isn't reality. This is the most obvious rebuttal to the implication Tomlinson draws from the hypothetical. The case of pro-abortion advocates isn't a choice between a 5-year-old and 1,000 fetuses. I'll get more into it.
All right, 855, 450 free. Mark, would you save the dying cancer woman or the 1,000?
Jeez, I don't know.
Embryos.
Now we are in the realm of ridiculousness. Maybe the embryo. I don't know. I don't have any idea.
All right, more coming up here in moments. You can take control of the airwaves here. This is Free Talk Live.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now at
855-510-BACK.
for a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain.
Call 855-510-BACK to see if laser spine surgery is right for you. That's 855-510-BACK.
What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, October 24th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.01 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,277 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,687. Antiwar.com reports U.S. warplanes attacked the Qusur district of Syria's city of Deir ez-Zor, a government-held area in the nation's far east, killing at least 14 civilians and wounding 32 others, according to local reports. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that 22 civilians had been killed in the attack. The U.S. has not commented on the incident yet, but spokesman Colonel Dillon promised to check the reports. He said there would be no reason for the U.S. to attack the city, as neither the U.S. nor the Kurdish allies are operating in that area. That, of course, is not exactly a denial, and it's unclear if we'll hear about it again soon. The attack is likely to be a serious problem with respect to U.S.-Russia activity within Syria, as Russia is backing Syria in taking the Deir ez-Zor province from the Islamic State, and doubtless will not look kindly on the U.S. attacking a Syrian city in the area. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a vegetable supplier to several of the largest grocery store chains in the nation issued a major recall of several products last week due to a risk of listeria contamination. Man Packing, based in Salinas, California, recalled dozens of packaged vegetables, salads, and other products that are sold at stores across the United States and Canada, including Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Albertsons, Safeway, Meijer, and Walmart. A full list of recalled products is available on the Food and Drug Administration website. The FDA said although healthy healthy individuals may suffer only short-term symptoms such as high fever, severe headache, stiffness, nausea, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. Listeria infection can cause miscarriages and stillbirth among pregnant women. Customers who have purchased any of the products on the recalled list are urged to discard the products or return it to the store where it was purchased for a refund. Gina Nucci, Director of Corporate Marketing at Man Packing, said, "This voluntary recall is a reflection of our commitment to ensuring the safety of our customers." In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports U.S. representatives from both major parties asked the Department of Justice on Monday whether the domestic terrorism law would cover actions by protesters that shut oil pipelines last year, a move that could potentially increase political rhetoric against climate change activists. Ken Buck, a Republican from Colorado, said in a letter to Attorney General Jeff Sessions that damaging pipeline infrastructure poses risks to humans and the environment. The letter, a copy of which was obtained by Reuters, said operation of pipeline facilities by unqualified personnel could result in a rupture, the consequences of which would be devastating. It was signed by 84 representatives, including at least 2 Democrats, Gene Green and Henry Cuellar of Texas. The move by the lawmakers is a sign of increasing tension between activists protesting projects, including Energy Transfer Partners LP Dakota Access Pipeline, and the administration of President Donald Trump, which is seeking to make the country energy dominant by boosting domestic oil, gas, and coal output. The letter asks Sessions whether existing federal laws arm the DOJ to prosecute criminal activity against energy infrastructure. It also asks whether attacks on energy infrastructure that pose a threat to human life fall within the department's understanding of domestic terrorism laws. The DOJ acknowledged receipt of the letter and said they are reviewing it. A terrorism expert said it was ironic that lawmakers referred to the law, which defines domestic terrorism as acts dangerous to human life intended to intimidate civilians, but does not offer any way to prosecute anyone under it. David Schanzer, a Homeland Security and terrorism expert at Duke University, said the lawmakers' request of Sessions will not make any legal ramifications, but possibly could be used for rhetorical value. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A new medical study on the effects of marijuana use confirms that everyone knows you're high and that you'll never stop feeling like this.
Everyone can smell the marijuana on your breath and on your clothes. Everyone is laughing at you.
Additionally, the in-depth report reveals that despite trying to act cool, you're definitely laughing too much and everyone is messing with you.
Your parents know you're high. Your friends know you're high. Strangers on the street know you're high. If you're young and you smoke marijuana, you will probably never be able to find a job. And if you're an adult, you will most likely be fired. If you hear a noise, that's probably the police, and you're probably going to jail.
While previous studies suggested that it's all good and that we're all made of the same stuff that makes stars, new research indicates that your brain got broken and you shouldn't have done this. Doctors say the study raises important questions such as, what if that wasn't just marijuana and how are you going to get home?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever you want. Hour number 3 is what we're launching into here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I think there's more to this abortion discussion that we've been having here. For those of you just tuning in, it's Ian Johnson and Mark on the show here tonight. Johnson, you brought a story in from Info. What was it?
Daily Mailer?
Daily something or other.
Daily
Info.
Wire.
Daily Wire. There we go. Anyway, it's written by some pro-life person who is responding to a pro-choicer who is on Twitter making a kind of a ridiculous scenario example of why pro-lifers will never answer this question, supposedly, he says. And the question was about if you were in a burning fertility clinic and there's a 5-year-old child and 1,000 fertilized embryos and you can only save one of those two things, which would you save? And Mark, you as a pro-lifer said you would save the 5-year-old child, but then there's all these other examples that the pro-lifer brought up. kind of giving other examples where the embryos might have more value to the person who's trying to save them, and we left off on the example of a cancer-stricken woman instead of a 5-year-old child, cancer-stricken woman who's going to die the next day. Would you save her, or would you save the 1,000 unfertilized or fertilized eggs or whatever fetuses? Anyway, and at that point, I said I'd probably save the 1,000 at that point because there's, to me, more potential there than there is in the woman. But, Mark, you didn't have an answer, and you're the pro-lifer.
Yeah, well, I mean...
and I'm the pro-choice, and I said I'd probably save the woman.
You'd say the woman. Okay.
You're going to deal with recriminations when you get down there and, somebody starts talking, right? You let a woman with cancer die in a burning building?
Well, I'm used to people critiquing me.
John Edwards.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I
just value her one day of life more than 1,000 fetuses.
Really? Okay. All right.
Regardless of the potential, I see 1,000
Who's going to take care of these fetuses? Are they going to be raised by the government to be killing machines?
That's a good point.
We're
getting into too many questions here. These are ridiculous
Exactly.
examples, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. I mean, it's like, okay, you're talking about, the 1,000 fertilized fetuses when you see them at the bottom of a pond and, one of those groups of eggs that the frogs lay,
Yes, but those aren't human fetuses.
No, they're not.
That's a difference.
Is it really, though? Because they're fetuses.
Because when they grow up, they're frogs.
If they're sitting in a vat mixed together, all 1,000 of them, they're obviously not that important.
Well, if they were sitting in a vat mixed together, you probably wouldn't
vat of caviar.
But who mixed frogs and human fetuses together?
No. I'm saying that the fetuses themselves are mixed together, like just randomly.
Yeah,
There's
but
Bobby and Steve
Did we get rid of
George
at this
all
point?
just
This
floating
example
together in a mess.
Let's go on.
Are they all from the same couple? I mean, what?
Let's go on.
What do you call 1,000 twins? I mean, it's I know it's like twins, then triplets, then quadruplets, and
the internet has an
quintuplets.
answer for you.
What's 1,000? Anyway. So this argument, he goes on to, this guy says, but he's wrong. This original guy, Tomlinson, is wrong about his argument. If, he thinks that his hypothetical proves that embryos aren't human life or potential human life and therefore have no value. There's at least 4 reasons for that. We've covered 3 of those, which are moral instinct does not always mean correct moral decision-making. The thought experiment does not reveal the value of embryonic life. Most pro-lifers freely admit the supreme value of already born human life, but that doesn't make prenatal life valueless. And the last one, which we're on, is the hypothetical isn't reality. This is the most obvious rebuttal to the implication Tomlinson draws from the hypothetical. The case of pro-abortion advocates isn't a choice between a 5-year-old and 1,000 fetuses. It's the case of killing a fetus by itself. No such hard choice exists in 99.99% of abortion cases, which means that using such a hypothetical to justify a doctor killing thousands of fetuses out of pure convenience is simply ridiculous. Tomlinson's initial thought experiment is interesting, but it doesn't prove much beyond the fact that we make decisions all the time about the relative value of human life, often based on instinct. That doesn't make our instincts right. It doesn't justify non-hypothetical cases. It doesn't even prove Tomlinson's general point, but at least it allows left-wingers to pour their instinctual scorn on conservatives without actually acknowledging the faultiness of their arguments.
Well, I agree with that point 100%.
But the choice, what he's wrong about, though, is he's saying that the choice in the case of an abortion is to exterminate what he believes is a human life or not. Right. But the choice is really, again, about that value, right? So we've had a pro-lifer admit that there's way less value to 1,000 fetuses than there is one human child. And so in the case of the one abortion, in reality now, we're in the real world here, the choice is, do you have the abortion and have the life of the mother be better than if she has the child, because there may be reasons why she doesn't want the child or shouldn't have the child or whatever, or do you force the woman to have this child that she doesn't want? What's the value in those situations? It seems to me that the value is with the individual, with the real human being, the mother in that case, who is the prime value in that equation. The fetus has some value, but nowhere near the value of the real human being with a life and an experience and and loved ones and all of that.
And the fetus doesn't even have any value over her specific choice.
If we agree that the human fetus has value, we have agreed that?
Sure.
Sure,
Okay,
a penny
great.
has value too.
Fine. That's fine.
A frog fetus also has value.
Then you're saying that the mother makes the decision or not, and she would be the primary victim in my belief. If somebody, like for instance, if you go up punching pregnant women in the belly, you're going to get something more than an assault charge. Are you clear on that?
You get 2 assault charges, or attempted murder?
What if you killed the fetus?
You would get murder.
Okay,
But
it's murder at that point.
I don't think
Excellent.
it should be murder in that case, because it's just a fetus.
Well, I don't think you should be able to make the decision for that woman whether she's going to have a child or not.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
So
there's definitely some restitution
you're robbing
that is owed.
her of value.
Yeah,
and
no
that
doubt.
value is a human life a potential human life.
But it's not the same value as robbing her of her 5-year-old son.
Right, it's not the same as capping her kid in the face.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah. So what's the value? What's the determination as far as the restitution?
Here's my
it would be lower for the
question.
fetus.
I didn't ask the question yet. I'm setting up the scenario. If the woman decides to kill the fetus, and you've said it has value, and the man decides not to, is he not a victim in that circumstance?
You're talking about the daddy?
Somebody.
Baby daddy?
Presumably there was a daddy, unless he was a sperm bank donor.
Well, the man doesn't get to decide. He doesn't carry the child.
I understand that, but would he not be a victim since it is his child?
Sorry.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say, and this is where it's weird because I'm 100% pro-choice in that I am pro-eviction. I'm pro, and I've always had this stance, and it's very different from the average pro-choicer. I am pro-fetal eviction, and what that typically would result in is once the fetus has been removed, it's going to die on its own of natural causes.
Unless you hook it up to some kind of life support
which now exists. So if this life support can now exist, and the father wants this child to come to fruition,
he can pay for the life support.
He can pay for the life support. That's what I think should be. I absolutely feel like he should be able to. Then he pays for the womb, and she gets
and
it
pays
removed,
for the operation of the removal
and whatever. But I feel like that should be also ecumenical, so that if 2 parents decide only one of them wants to have a kid, then now suddenly the whole argument changes if that becomes reality, right? If you get this artificial womb technology, which is now quickly coming to pass.
Okay.
There's whole articles on it right now.
Because, the argument now with the whole child support thing is men are forced to pay child support, right? Or it's very rare that a woman is somehow forced into that situation with a male parent somehow gets custody and the woman's being forced.
If the man
child
wants
support.
an abortion and the woman doesn't, the guy's paying child support. If a woman wants an abortion and the guy doesn't, something, I don't have a term for it, but something akin to murder has occurred.
Now, what happens in the future, right, this is the near future. This is a realistic scenario that this could absolutely possibly happen. We get to the point of where the woman says she doesn't want anything to do with the child anymore. The man says that absolutely they want the child. The child is raised in an artificial womb. Is that woman then going to be legally forced into paying child support? I contend that in the society that we're building right now, she still won't be forced. Men will still be forced into child support. Women will not be, despite him paying to raise this child in a womb. In an artificial womb, and actually bringing that child to term.
Well, presumably she would.
Being
part of the deal.
mother.
Presumably, part of the deal would be she would sign off her rights to the child, right? Like
it doesn't matter. Men are willing to do that all the time.
They don't have the opportunity.
But they don't have the opportunity. They're still forced to pay child support.
Right.
They do sign their rights away and still are forced to pay.
I don't think I was communicating correctly. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Message and data rates may apply. Oh my gosh, that's Frank Thomas. No. Yes, that's him. Go ahead.
Excuse me, are you Frank Thomas?
Yes, I am.
I bet you get recognized a lot.
I was a pretty good ball player.
You were?
Some people thought so.
Sorry, we recognize you from those Nugenics commercials.
Oh, yeah? That's great.
So does Nugenics really work?
Oh, yeah. I really can feel the difference. My workouts are better, and I feel a lot more energetic.
I wish my husband would use Nugenics.
It's so easy to get started. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Text the word radio77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And you're going to like the difference, too.
Text Radio 77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of Nugenix. Samples are not available in stores. Text RADIO 77 to 42424.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up anything you want. Our number here, 855-450-FREE. Like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. You can join us on our website anytime you want. Just go to freetalklive.com.
I love Whole Food Multi-Complete. What Whole Food Multi-Complete is something so much more than a multivitamin. You can go to the store and you can buy some synthetic multivitamin. You spend, I don't know, some small amount for 100 pills or whatever it might be. But you won't get the value that you get from Whole Food Multi-Complete. Whole Food Multi-Complete is a plant-based, non-synthetic multi, but it's not a multivitamin because it also has probiotics, enzymes, antioxidants, everything that your body needs in the right doses is in Whole Food Multi-Complete. For 15 years, Whole Food Multi-Complete has been quietly providing what the big guys won't, the perfect blend of supplements in a single product. They've taken the expense and the complexity out of following a complete supplement program. So visit simplifymysupplements.com and just take a look at the list of ingredients there, all the different nutrients that they've got in Whole Food Multi-Complete. Enter coupon code FTL and receive 10% off on your order every time you order. So keep using it. Simplifymysupplements.com. Coupon code FTL, satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Yes, they take Bitcoin.
All right, so just before we went to break there, Mark, you said, sorry, buddy, and I'm not really sure what you were referencing because I might have miscommunicated. The scenario we were discussing was this idea of the, Johnson, you said they're developing an artificial womb, and that if a man, after two people have made a baby together, if the man wants the child, but the woman does not, that was the situation we were discussing. What I was saying, or trying to say, I think I did a poor job of it, was that if the man is able to get the woman to agree, okay, I don't want this baby, says the woman. The man says, well, I want it, and I'm willing to pay for the artificial womb. I'm willing to pay for the operation to have the baby removed from you and put into the artificial womb. I'm willing to pay for all these costs.
I think legally in the future, it's possible that she won't even have a choice.
And that she may be required to pay for half.
Right. Okay, but what I was saying is if the man is willing to pay, we don't know what the heck the future is going to look like here, right? So I'm just this is what I was trying to say. This is what I was trying to say. Is if the man wanted to pay for everything and she was willing to go along with it, that's when you would have her sign the form saying, I, relinquish all legal claim to this child. That would be part of the deal of him paying for all of that stuff. If I were the guy in that case, that's what I would want signed. Otherwise, it'd be like, fine, abort the child then, because I don't want to have to fight with you over this forever. You sign that form right then, and then from that point on, she's got no claim to any kind of child support payments. That was the point I was trying to make.
Sure. You would really like the notion of just being the only parent and not having to get together and make decisions with somebody else. There's no
I
doubt.
don't like the idea of being a parent at all. That's why I have a vasectomy.
I understand, but you would be preferable, right? Like you wouldn't want to be tied to somebody.
Well, wait,
way.
hold on. Now you made an interesting argument there, but I was talking about from the other side.
What do you mean?
I'm saying that it's also potential that if he's the one who's raising the child or whatever, that potentially she could be the one who's then forced into paying child support payments. In other words, this could be flipped on its head in a very different way.
She could also have a form that says she's not going to be required to pay child support payments if she gives up the child.
The way society works currently, frequently people sign these things where they waive their rights to the child and then are still forced to pay child support.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's the government's problem.
People are forced to pay child support, and it's not even their kid.
That's happened too. Yeah, you're right about that. Well, again, that's a government problem, not really an issue.
It's a government problem, and a woman who has lied to a man problem as well. So. Fraud
Which is, again, another reason to have a vasectomy. Because then if the woman gets pregnant, it's probably not yours. It could be, but it's pretty rare that a vasectomy reverses itself. Anyway, was there more to your story?
No, there's no more to that. We've covered it, so it's just we're in free-for-all mode.
So both sides, the pro-life, the pro-choice side, both, of course, believe they have won. Both believe they have bested the other side.
Well, I haven't got my fait accompli yet, where I ask you the final blow.
Okay.
And where I ask you, is a child the day before they're born worth less than a child the day after they're born? So does 2 days different? And as a matter of fact, you could make that 30 minutes difference, honestly.
Yeah, now we're getting into a real tough call, I think.
Yeah, I think that, honestly.
Some people it's 30 years, and it's still kind of a question.
Yeah, I mean, there are scholars out there that have proposed that that a baby that is still dependent on its mother, the mother can kill the baby up to 2 years old because it's dependent on her. It's hers, and there's
an argument there.
Yeah, there's an argument. It's a sick, weird one, but
I think the larger the fetus becomes, the more weird and sick the situation becomes.
Because it's a human fetus, it grows into a human over time.
But it's not yet a human.
I say that since the world won't let me exterminate all the annoying, worthless human beings that are out there, then we shouldn't let anyone exterminate somebody because they're annoying or worthless or whatever the reason might be. That's my principled position, and it is unassailable.
I'm not sure why it's unassailable.
Because
we've been assailing it the entire time here.
And I've always kind of agreed with the position that he's taking there, in that I don't believe in exterminating the fetus. I believe taking it out of the womb and letting it, whatever happens, happens.
Toll-free number tonight if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733.
That's the thing that people don't want to talk about pro-choice and abortion, whatever, is that abortion is actually very humane. You're not letting the fetus that has been removed
die on its own,
die of suffocation. It's ending that life in a way that's not even more horrific.
So, Mark, you want the pro-lifers to step up and offer to take adoption of these fetuses and put them in the artificial wombs, and you're saying
that's
they're
a
not
much better
doing
solution, and then it will show the commitment that people actually have to these unborn children.
Because wouldn't that be what would be required in the absence of using the state, right? Because some pro-lifers want to use the state to outlaw abortion, which of course is just going to drive it underground, make it more dangerous, make it more painful to the
lock doctors up, lock teenagers up. Let's just lock people up.
So it's also going to result in, in one of the primary arguments for the longest time for why abortion spread or whatever was that, well, people make the claim that it's racist, but essentially that unwanted children equals a whole lot of crime.
No doubt about it. And also single child or single parent families, right? Where there's no dad around.
There are plenty of countries that have that don't have abortion at the same level that the United States does, and they don't have the crime the U.S. does either. So it's difficult to make that. I don't think that argument follows completely. I get it. And there's a good
unwanted children are more likely to go to the foster care system and therefore more likely to get involved.
More likely to be treated badly by their unprepared parents and end up being acting out and thus committing crime and that sort of thing.
Yeah, which is, again, one reason why I think that people should be able to make these choices to end a pregnancy, because their life would be a lot of people's lives would be worse off with a bunch of unwanted kids running around.
I have another crappy opinion, and that is that adopted kids, because they aren't growing up with their natural parents, feel sort of out of place and do a bunch of weird things.
Like you?
Yep. Prison has a much higher population of adopted people than the real world does.
All right, there's more coming up here. Sarah's going to save us from this topic on the way. This is Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
Chad here, owner of Infidel Body Armor. With the shooting in Vegas, there will be calls to ban guns and body armor. You can expect prices to rise dramatically in the coming weeks as gun grabbers try to outlaw your freedom. If you don't have your armor kit yet, you're behind the curve. Don't miss your window of opportunity. Go to infidelbodyarmor.com and click on Specials. That's infidelbodyarmor.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, you may join us on the radio. Our number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, so you may Skype into the show at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
All right, whether you want to talk about cryptocurrency, the latest in the Bitcoin world, where there's been another fork, we're still struggling to learn about it. There's really not a lot of... I mean, I figured Cointelegraph and CoinDesk and news.bitcoin.com would all have stories about Bitcoin Gold, and so far all I could find was CoinDesk, and they have a story about Bitcoin Gold's website being down. Not about, like, how do you get the Bitcoin Gold, what exchanges have Bitcoin Gold on it, any useful information that somebody might want to use to try to get access to the stuff, or to tell us why you can't because of some sort of pre-mine thing that I've heard rumors about. I don't know what's true when it comes to this Bitcoin Gold stuff. So if you know a thing or two about it, you can call us up and set us straight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. Let's go to Sarah. She's in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah. Sarah?
Pretty much. Hello?
Hey.
Are you with me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can't speak in. So, you know what? It has been told that we're going to get a Democratic mayor.
It has been told. Okay.
Is it like you went to a soothsayer?
It's expected. So the thing about it is that we have been burnt with the 8 years of a Republican mayor, Barry. So anybody following the aftermath of it, they're not going to get it. So we want to get somebody different. So Dan Lewis is Republican. He's not going to make it. So the bad thing about
Why
it
should
is
anyone care is what I want to know.
Well, you know what? It is a big difference. We have 20 cars stolen every day now. We're number one.
Do you think the Republicans are taking them?
Okay, how about this? We got 5 robbery stick-ups at the stores per day. I almost
when the government people rob you, they don't stick you up.
No, I'm talking about the robbers. They go into the
Yes, but
store.
are the robbers Republicans?
No, I don't know if they're. But this is all
Just
going
a guess.
on
They're probably
with
Democrats.
our Republican mayor, Barry.
So you're suggesting that the mayor is somehow influencing people to commit crimes?
Well, what I'm saying is that all of our crime rate has gone up, and 70,000 people have left New Mexico. It just has to have that become a worse place to live.
All because of the mayor of Albuquerque? 70,000 people left the entire state?
Well, I mean, don't you think that he has some kind of effect? This is all going on with him there. I'm sure that he blames the state
I can tell you,
government
I
and the
don't even
federal
know who the mayor is a town over from me. I don't see how
I don't know, but you know
anybody
your mayor.
I don't see how a mayor doing something in some city that isn't your city would affect you to leave the state. I mean, maybe the ridiculousness out of New York City, I understand that makes people upset in like upstate New York, but generally most people don't know who the mayor of fill-in-the-blank town is. Probably most people in the town itself don't even know the mayor's name.
Well, here's the thing. We're number one in pedestrian fatalities now in New Mexico. Since like 8 years have passed, all these horrible things are going on.
All the Republicans' fault.
You know what? I do blame all this going on Republican governor and Republican mayor.
Well, it's a very convenient scapegoat. I mean, the idea that you would do that, it just really reveals how partisan that you are. I mean, it's just ridiculous, the idea that whatever rise in crime or traffic fatalities is somehow tied to some politician who happens to be in the mayor's office. How many people on the city council are Democrats?
Probably, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 of them.
You don't know. You're completely speculating there, right? Like you have no idea.
But, it feels like 4 Republicans and 5 Democrats from what I was told.
It feels like it. That. Well, that would mean the Democrats have control of the city council.
Yeah, but you know what? The mayor always got the veto power. They could make it up to the if he vetoes it, it's bombed. Just like the governor. That's like the governor.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure the mayor has veto power? It's a strong mayor position there in Albuquerque. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just asking if that's the way it's set up.
That's how it works. Like our governor vetoed a lot of stuff, and then it's very hard to go over her. They have to sue her in the Supreme Court. So it works like that. So the councilors could pass all the things that they want. If he bombs it, it's bombed. So,
right.
The thing is, Ian, you know what? Me and you, and Mark, we all have a different perspective. You really think the Democrat, Republican, they don't make any difference?
No, they really
whatsoever.
don't. They're scum.
I think they make a difference.
They're scum of the earth.
I think that the Democrats, when they run states, those states are generally bankrupt or close to bankrupt. And as a matter of fact, the evidence bears me out.
She's right. The mayor does have the power of veto.
That's excellent.
No, it's not.
Right.
That's excellent. She's right.
Oh, okay.
as far as Albuquerque's concerned. But you know what? I have a different belief in a different system because we're different people. The thing is, the Democrats do a little bit more for me, because I'm on the low economic bottom totem pole. You know what I'm talking about?
So what you're saying is you get money. You get money from the Democrats.
Well, it's not a handout. Now I'm going to be dragged in. But
you're more likely to vote. Just admit it. You're more likely to vote for the person who's giving you a handout, right?
Well, I guess that make my life easier.
Yeah, I mean that's what you've just admitted to just moments ago. So here's the reason why a strong mayor position, I think you can argue against something like that. Here in Keene, New Hampshire, where we live, the mayor is actually a weak mayor position. The mayor, the only vote he ever gets is a tiebreaker vote. So he doesn't actually, in most votes between the city council, the mayor actually doesn't weigh in at all unless it's a tie. And the argument there is that ultimately it's more decentralized. I mean, even though we're talking about governments, and governments are by their nature decentralized, the fact that there are 15 votes, because here in Keene there's 15 city councilors, 15 votes as opposed to the one vote of the mayor, that puts a whole lot more power in the mayor's camp as opposed to the lesser power of each of the city councilors. Hey, Sarah, if it turns out that there's a Democrat mayor that gets elected this year, when's the election happen?
The election is going to be the 14th of November.
Okay, so it's coming up. If it turns out that a Democrat gets the mayorship, then, I don't know, a year, 2 years, 3 years later, how long is a term? Is it a 4-year term?
Yeah, 4-year term.
So then 4 years later, if you look back and it turns out traffic fatalities are either the same or have gone up, or crime is the same or has gone up, will you then blame the Democrat mayor for that?
More than likely. You know what? He might have an effect. But
Okay.
I know that our are going to increase. Our businesses
Well, in order to
are
be
going to
in order to be consistent, you would have to also blame the mayor. If you're blaming the Republican mayor for the problems in Albuquerque, then you would also have to blame the Democrat mayor for the similar problems in Albuquerque if they continue. Thank you for the call tonight, Sarah. I guess we'll just find out what happens over time.
But what if more people move to New Mexico than leave in the next few years? Does she get
because
to
of the Albuquerque
mitigate
mayor.
her claims? You see, this is the thing: is that you can find bad things that went on in the last 8 years and then apply them to the Republican mayor, and whoops.
Toll-free number tonight, 855-450 free like freedom.
Bitcoin Gold down more than 10% while we've been on the air.
Where are you getting these prices from?
CoinMarketCap.com.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious to know what exchanges are actually running with this Bitcoin Gold thing. Let's continue here. Surf Daddy on the line in Ventura, California. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, Ian.
Hey, Surf Daddy.
How you doing?
What's on your mind?
Hey, I'm wondering, what's your aversion to why don't you want kids? Like,
I got better things to do. I don't like kids. I'm not interested in them, not at all. So I don't want to spend any time with them. I don't want to hold them. When people try to offer me their kid, not interested. I don't like crying babies.
I made him hold my child, as when he was younger. Just to see the look in his face, and to make it. Another thing is that people are scared of holding children. We'll hold him over.
Hang on, Surf Daddy. We'll bring you back.
It's a lot of people who don't have kids are scared of holding them, and you should at least know what it's like to hold this thing. They don't wriggle that much. They're just like holding a little sack of potatoes. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and they have to pee and poop all the time, and there's a bunch of diaper changing.
No one asked you to do a diaper change, you big crybaby.
Right, because I don't have a kid. More coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Google has all but banned the movie series What Would Muhammad Do? It's a brilliant film on the true history and goals of Islam. This is the film Trump's enemies and holdouts from the Obama administration are terrified you will see. Pro-Islamic groups working with Google and other multi-billion-dollar corporations have vowed to suppress the distribution of What Would Muhammad Do? When you see it, you'll understand why. Get your copy while you still can. Order the 4-DVD collection today for $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Or go online and download the entire movie series for just $19.95. But wait, for those who order in the next 30 minutes, we'll throw in a 9-part series on the Muslim Brotherhood absolutely free. Go to wwmdfilm.com or call 304-289-3700 now. That's wwmdfilm.com or call 304-289-3700 now.
People are saying it could be a baby bump. Our senior celebrity correspondent, Tyler, is here. Tyler, you always have the inside dish. What's the deal?
She looks like she got fat, so she might have a baby in her tummy.
Oh? What else have you heard?
I heard she has a boyfriend, and they have sex.
That's right. You know, the Hollywood couple vacationed in Rome together just 2 months ago.
They had a big hotel room, and I can tell you what they did in it.
Spill it, Tyler.
He put his penis in her vagina.
Hot. She is one lucky gal.
And she's going crazy.
Uh-oh. Is stardom starting to wear on Emma?
Yeah, she's crazy and dumb. She put a carrot in her vagina.
Whoa. Do tell.
Yeah, she said, oh, this carrot's like my boyfriend's penis. I'm gonna rub it all over my vagina. I'm so gross. Then she ate it like Bugs Bunny.
What a hot mess. Hey, Emma, get it together, girl. Tyler, you are breaking news as always.
This is the Onion News Network.
Ella
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. In these remaining moments, we got enough time for you. Just join us now at 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. And you can get signed up for our email list. Just head over to freetalklive.com. You'll find the email sign-up box there near the top middle section of the site. It's free. You get signed up. We'll send you an email, usually on a once-a-week basis, to keep you in the loop with what's going on with Free Talk Live. So get signed up there and enjoy all the other features that you'll find. They're all free over at freetalklive.com. Surf Daddy is on the line here tonight in California. You'd called to ask me why I don't want to have kids, and man, I could just go on and on about all the reasons why. Not only all the annoyances of having babies and children around, and all the extra responsibilities loaded. I barely have time to take care of myself, let alone take care of some other thing that is dependent on me. But on top of that, then you've got all the drama from the mother who might want to try to wield the child like a political football or a weapon, potential breakups, child custody battles, the child support and all that stuff. Man, I've seen so many people have nightmares with the legal system and all that. I'd seen enough of that when I was younger, and I said, psh, get me that vasectomy. So anyway,
the doctor made you sign, you had to jump through special hoops to get a vasectomy at your age.
Because I was young. I mean, it wasn't any special hoops. It was just like, are you sure you want to do this? You can't really reverse this. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, there is the other side of that. The other side is just it's wonderful beyond words. But
yeah, everybody says that, but whatever.
He just doesn't believe.
You have different values.
I understood.
I think it's wonderful to have free time and doing things I want to be doing, not raising some other thing.
Well, I was going to make one point. If your life's work is this spreading the idea of liberty, the best and easiest way you could do that is by
starting a radio show?
No, having your own children.
I disagree. That's actually a very hard way to go about doing
Ian's
that.
Been on the air for 15 years. You don't think how many kids do you think he's going to have? I mean,
I can influence far more people behind a microphone.
I got 4, and they're all libertarian-minded.
That's pretty awesome, and a 4-person conversion rate is probably good for somebody who doesn't have a radio program.
Yeah, I mean, I can do a lot more behind a microphone for liberty than by raising one kid. And by the way, just because you have a kid is no guarantee that they're going to align with your viewpoint.
No, if Ian had a kid, they'd probably hate him and change.
We had Michelle Seven on the air with us here for a while, and she had 3 kids, and many of them, I don't know if all 3 of them are libertarians, but they gave her a living hell in some cases because they fought and they didn't all agree with her on her politics. So just having a kid is no guarantee that they're going to be not a commie or whatever.
Right. Well, obviously we're not going to see eye to eye on everything, and
that's fine.
I probably debate the most with my daughter, but which is always wonderful. But they're all very libertarian-minded. And
I say right on, man. Most people want to have kids. They have a drive to have kids. I have no drive whatsoever. I've never wanted them. I don't want them now. And I suspect I'm not going to want them in the future. So that's what most people want to do.
If
Good
that
for them.
changes for you, you can always adopt.
I could adopt one if I needed to. And I'm sure there's some kind of, if for whatever reason I cared so much about spreading my DNA or whatever, which seems to be the primary drive. Like I've had conversations with people who are looking to have kids, and that's what they want, man. They want a little them. They want a little them running around. And like to me, I don't really care about that. That means nothing to me. The idea of spreading liberty and the ideas of freedom, that means something to me, and I'm doing my best at that.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Just kind of curious because you're very, very against it. And
I have strong feelings about things that I believe in or don't believe in.
Yeah, I didn't want to have kids either until my wife basically said we're having a kid or I'm leaving, and that was ultimately how it, there was a contract put in place, and we both fulfilled our portions of that up to this point. I think that it's
no
the most
regrets, Mark, right?
Yeah, really, no. I mean, I think that he's, obviously he's wonderful. Just like you said, I believe it's a biological imperative. I don't think parents have a choice.
What I find funny is the argument for spreading the DNA is that 6 billion years of evolution failed finally at you.
Yeah, right.
Yep, on the end of the line.
He could have failed all along. I mean, there's, it happens. Lines die, and that's it.
I'm the end of the line. The Bernard family name.
I mean,
see you later.
What about the gay guys? They're not producing.
I have a sister, but if she gets married, she probably won't have the same last name again. So maybe the DNA will continue, but whatever.
Well, wouldn't have the same last name anyway, right? Because you've changed your last name.
When was the last time you talked to the sister?
Oh God, I don't know. Probably like a decade ago or something.
Yeah. Family, you can see, is important to Ian.
Yeah, doesn't mean jack to me. I mean, individuals mean
I probably
something.
stopped off and visited his mother more times than he has since he moved to New Hampshire.
That's probably true.
Yeah. She's a nice lady.
Yeah. I mean, I love my parents and everything, but I just I don't feel any obligation towards family. To me, they're just a group of strangers you're born into. Some of them are good, and some of them not so good. I mean, my uncle was a crackhead, but luckily he never beat me or anything like that. So, what can you do?
If what Ian's just said isn't an argument against having children, I don't know what is.
What, the crackhead uncle?
No, you saying family's just a bunch of strangers you were born into.
Yeah. Well, isn't it true?
Your kid could turn out like Ian.
Some families are abusive towards their kids. I mean, should they feel an obligation to their parents if they beat them?
I don't know.
I would say no. The hell with those people.
They could be making a mistake and they could apologize.
Well, then they're going to have to apologize pretty profusely for severe beatings to their children. Anyway, Surf Daddy, anything else you want to share tonight?
No. I just obviously feel very strongly about having a family, and it's
cool, man. You should do that.
You did.
Yeah.
Keep doing it then. The human race needs people like you.
I'm 52. I'm about done.
Hey,
I'm leaving
time for grandchildren.
Surf Daddy, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. And there are plenty of people like that.
And Ian has family. He has a nephew named Jack.
Technically not my nephew, but...
What's he call you?
I don't know.
He calls you Uncle Ian.
Okay.
You're very special. He talks about Uncle Ian. Why does Uncle
Because I give him candy. That's why he
does
likes
Uncle
me.
Ian go to jail?
He didn't ask that.
Yes, he has.
Did he really?
Yes.
But
he's watched videos of you going to jail. Why are those people putting Uncle Ian in jail?
If I didn't give him candy, he wouldn't like me as much.
There you go.
Right.
That's ultimately what it comes down
Shallow.
to.
That's what family is.
That's what it is.
Bribing children with candy.
You take care of somebody for a period of time, and they're gonna be pretty positive towards you.
All right, so hey, I appreciate where people are coming from. If you like kids, I'm not coming down on people who like kids, man. If that's what you're into, then have all the kids you want as long as you can afford it.
I think some
go
people
to town.
hear your opinion, vociferously against children as an indictment against them having children, and if that's
strange.
the case,
No.
then that is an indictment against them having children. If what your opinion on children is an makes them feel indicted, then that's the.
I would never say to somebody who wants a kid that they shouldn't have one. My goodness, you should have whatever you want in life, and
you should be prepared for it.
Right, that's what I say. If you can afford to have one, I think you should have as many as you want. That's your business. It's your money. It's your life. If that's what's fulfilling to you, then God bless you. All right, let's continue here. David in San Francisco, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello, David.
Hey, greetings.
Hey.
You know, I heard you talking about abortion a little while ago, and I was going to raise, there was an interesting book. It's written by Kitty Kelly. This is the biography of Frank Sinatra. And in the opening chapter, it talks about his mother. And his mother was apparently the biggest abortionist on the East Coast. Her territory, she was in New Jersey, but she handled politicians. She handled rich and poor, and she was one of the wealthiest women in America. In 1917 is when he was born, and it talks about housing prices, how she bought the most expensive house in America in 1917 or so, and the idea that what I was going to raise was apparently organized crime. Of the income streams of organized crime at that time, abortion was number 3. You had gambling, you had extortion, you had...
So it was illegal at that time?
Oh, abortion's been illegal for centuries, actually, in various places in the world.
Okay.
But the point was that organized crime was not only giving you an abortion, but that they'd be able to blackmail you afterward. So if you start looking at freeing America from blackmail, the whole idea of, we had the baby boom. It was only made legal in 1972. And so the whole idea...
I was born in 71. Yes,
David, if you want to talk more, you're welcome to call any other night, but unfortunately you called toward the end of the show, so there's really not much time here. But I appreciate your call, and we'll see you tomorrow night. You can join us online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, October 24th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.01 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,277 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,687. Antiwar.com reports U.S. warplanes attacked the Qusur district of Syria's city of Deir ez-Zor, a government-held area in the nation's far east, killing at least 14 civilians and wounding 32 others, according to local reports. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that 22 civilians had been killed in the attack. The U.S. has not commented on the incident yet, but spokesman Colonel Dillon promised to check the reports. He said there would be no reason for the U.S. to attack the city, as neither the U.S. nor the Kurdish allies are operating in that area. That, of course, is not exactly a denial, and it's unclear if we'll hear about it again soon. The attack is likely to be a serious problem with respect to U.S.-Russia activity within Syria, as Russia is backing Syria in taking the Deir ez-Zor province from the Islamic State, and doubtless will not look kindly on the U.S. attacking a Syrian city in the area. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a vegetable supplier to several of the largest grocery store chains in the nation issued a major recall of several products last week due to a risk of listeria contamination. Man Packing, based in Salinas, California, recalled dozens of packaged vegetables, salads, and other products that are sold at stores across the United States and Canada, including Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Albertsons, Safeway, Meijer, and Walmart. A full list of recalled products is available on the Food and Drug Administration website. The FDA said although healthy individuals may suffer only short-term symptoms such as high fever, severe headache, stiffness, nausea, abdominal pain, and diarrhea, listeria infection can cause miscarriages and stillbirth among pregnant women. Customers who have purchased any of the products on the recalled list are urged to discard the products or return it to the store where it was purchased for a refund. Gina Nucci, Director of Corporate Marketing at Man Packing, said, "This voluntary recall is a reflection of our commitment to ensuring the safety of our customers." In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports U.S. representatives from both major parties asked the Department of Justice on Monday whether the domestic terrorism law would cover actions by protesters that shut oil pipelines last year, a move that could potentially increase political rhetoric against climate change activists. Ken Buck, a Republican from Colorado, said in a letter to the Attorney General Jeff Sessions that damaging pipeline infrastructure poses risks to humans and the environment. The letter, a copy of which was obtained by Reuters, said operation of pipeline facilities by unqualified personnel could result in a rupture, the consequences of which would be devastating. It was signed by 84 representatives, including at least 2 Democrats, Gene Green and Henry Cuellar of Texas. The move by the lawmakers is a sign of increasing tension between activists protesting projects, including Energy Transfer Partners LP Dakota Access Pipeline, and the administration of President Donald Trump, which is seeking to make the country energy dominant by boosting domestic oil, gas, and coal output. The letter asks Sessions whether existing federal laws arm the DOJ to prosecute criminal activity against energy infrastructure. It also asks whether attacks on energy infrastructure that pose a threat to human life fall within the department's understanding of domestic terrorism laws. The DOJ acknowledged receipt of the letter and said they are reviewing it. A terrorism expert said it was ironic that lawmakers referred to the law, which defines domestic terrorism as acts dangerous to human life intended to intimidate civilians, but does not offer any way to prosecute anyone under it. David Schanzer, a Homeland Security and terrorism expert at Duke University, said the lawmakers' request of Sessions will not make any legal ramifications, but possibly could be used for rhetorical value. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
People are saying it could be a baby bump. Our senior celebrity correspondent, Tyler, is here. Tyler, you always have the inside dish. What's the deal?
She looks like she got fat, so she might have a baby in her tummy.
Oh? What else have you heard?
I heard she has a boyfriend, and they have sex.
That's right. You know, the Hollywood couple vacationed in Rome together just 2 months ago.
They had a big hotel room, and I can tell you what they did in it.
Spill it, Tyler.
He put his penis in her vagina.
Hot. She is one lucky gal.
And she's going crazy.
Uh-oh, is stardom starting to wear on Emma?
Yeah, she's crazy and dumb. She put a carrot in her vagina.
Whoa, do tell.
Yeah, she said, oh, this carrot's like my boyfriend's penis. I'm gonna rub it all over my vagina. I'm so gross. Then she ate it like Bugs Bunny.
What a hot mess. Hey, Emma, get it together, girl. Tyler, you are breaking news as always.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear here, and declare your independence. With me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, 8 from the BEA beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. All right, we're going to go into the Vegas shooting, and I promised, 3 weeks. So you wait 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. We'll do that, and that's something I learned from Vin Sopranowitz, our guest for the next 3 hours. And let me go and introduce you to Vin real quick, and then we'll just get right to it. And I tell you what my goal is. My goal today, the big thing is you're looking for that one thing, that one thing. I'll give you an example. When 9/11 happened, Oklahoma City, 9/11, Waco, Ruby Ridge, all these things, and the official story is, when we say this about that, and you better shut up and believe. Just shut up and believe. A good friend of mine, Keith, says that a lot. He goes, you question the narrative, and he'll go, shut up and believe. You're just supposed to shut up and, that's the attitude. And what if you don't shut up? What if you don't believe? Then what? Well, what we're going to do is go over the incident and kind of look at it fresh. There's a lot of stuff I see. There's so much noise out there. So then you start bringing out, as time goes on, people are killed and they die, and information comes up and it's repressed and it's just, suppressed and all. And you're, what the heck? In 9/11, when I first started doing radio in 2003, by then it'd been a couple of years, and no, it was about a year and a half. I started in February, so it was September to September, and then February, so year and a half or so. And by that time, of course, there were a lot of questions and so on. Well, the thing is that I'm looking for that one thing. I'll give you an example. 9/11, when that happened, I was like, where the hell did all this molten metal come from? Well, it jet fuel in the wind and blowtorched it of something. I mean, I don't know what their mental gymnastics they went through, but when it just collapsed into its own footprint, its powder and all that metal, and it just rivers of lava. Of just molten metal. You pick it up weeks later and it's dripping and stuff. I'm like, what? So, of course, you have the theories go from there. But it's just the one question. Anyone that would come on, anyone that would challenge anything, they'd say, yeah, it's all very interesting. Where'd molten metal come from? Now, anybody that was really looking, they at least would have a theory, or they acknowledge that it at least was there, or, something. But it was anyone that was trying to support some other narrative of whatever government made it up thing, they would never address the molten metal. And then you get in the 9/11 Commission report, they even mentioned Building 7 that came down. So whatever happened to Building 7? I mean, Jordan Page even wrote a song about it. Like, here you go. So I'm looking for that. where'd all this molten metal come from? Well, in the Las Vegas shooting, we're going to find a lot of those. Yeah, where'd this come from? Where'd this do? What happened? We haven't even heard anything about ballistics. What kind of round, what kind of weaponry was there? Okay. Well, when you pull a bullet out of somebody's leg and you go, all right, or their torso or their brain or what, I mean, there's, you get 500 people injured and a bunch dead, I guarantee you got bullets, okay? So, I mean, how much forensics are going on? What do they know? What do they not know? Now, getting inside into how the politics work in Las Vegas. None better than Vince Suprenowitz. Tell you all about it. There's how the law enforcement work. Who are the people that do the security? Where did they come from? Who owns Las Vegas, really? So it's the casinos and organized this, of intelligence community that, and overlap. Vegas is a playground to the world, Well, it's like, dystopian, futuristic sci-fi movie of, there's always going to be a Vegas. So we're going to get into it, and Vin's going to help us. So let's go ahead. What I want to do is go ahead and do the bio on Vin here real quick, and then we'll get to it. Deep in the Nevada desert, in a hidden mansion full of old books and vintage clothes, guarded by 5 anthropomorphic cats and a family of attack roadrunners, Vin Suprenowitz went cold turkey from a 40-year newspaper career. They said he'd never write anything over 1,000 words again. But with the help and the encouragement of the brunette and a few close friends, he came back with The Testament of James, about the modern-day search for a lost book revealing the long-suppressed secret of Jesus and the manna. He proved them wrong. Then it goes on to the next one, the Miskatonic manuscript, his latest. And then he's written Send in the Waco Killers, and Black Arrow, and The Ballad of Carl Draga, and I mean, it just goes on and on. He's written several novels, and he's always been counted on to write a column for Firearm News, which used to be Shotgun News. Now, of course, his most recent one that's coming out, I think in November, should be coming out about now, if it's not already out, is about gun control. And how they have these instances, and that's what really gets served is gun control. Somebody's doing gun control because they want some gun control. So we'll talk about that. All right. Now I'm going to turn it over to Vin and see what he has to say about this. Prep it. We're going to do it all day. We're not going to, we're going to take our time. Now, the Las Vegas massacre, we're going to talk about that, maybe false flags in general, fake news, cover up, government trying to control the narrative, what really happened and why. So this is, nobody ever asks why anymore. Why? I mean, of course, they're, asking it now, but then they don't address. I haven't heard really any anything on Las Vegas, and I've, kind of have my radar up. All right, Vin, it's your turn, man. Tell me what we're going to be doing today.
Yeah, a little strange, isn't it, Ernie, that this was big news for 2 weeks. You cite the 3-week rule. I don't know if I invented that. But
yep, you did. I remember.
Interesting. The last week it's like dropped out of the news cycle. Okay, now everybody has to talk about. What are we talking about? The Gold Star Mother and whether Donald Trump said the words in the right order when he made a condolence call to the widow of somebody who was. It's always okay. What's the latest thing that people are complaining about? And the shooting that they say is. I mean, is it the biggest terrorist incident in U.S. history? Well, no. You got 9/11, and you got. Ulysses S. Grant killing a lot of civilians when he shelled Vicksburg. They forget about that. But in terms of, you want to define it in some way, a mass shooting, the most people who were killed by a single guy, apparently a single guy with, it was huge. It was a big crime. It was a big event. We don't want to ignore the fact 58 people dead and 500 people wounded. That's the number of families that are permanently affected. Some of these people, it's very easy to say, oh, he was just wounded. He was lucky. Well, you can have a permanent disabling injury. You got to walk with a crutch. You lose a limb. Your earning power is reduced. Your family is affected for the next 40, 50 years. This is not a minor matter.
It fries your brain.
And yet it's only a couple of weeks, and now it's kind of blown past because there's no new information for people to report. And that the story sometimes, as in the Sherlock Holmes story, it's the dog that doesn't bark. how come there's no news now? Well, it's because the casinos don't want a lot of coverage of how and why this happened, and so it sort of fades from view because the reporters can't find anything new to report.
Yeah, but they're not reporting on all the stuff they're not finding.
That's true.
Where's the ballistics? Where's the, I got Mike Adams, the health ranger, doing acoustic analysis for the FBI now on YouTube. Is that what it takes? I'm not feeling good about this. When we come back, more details from Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.